Hello and welcome to the first of our measurement activities, and this is actually just basic solving equations. So the absolute simplest thing you could solve is something like this because it's already solved. X is equal to 3. So we up the ante a little bit and we get 2x is equal to 6. And now we have to do a little work. We need to isolate the x. We look at what's being done to it, which is multiply by 2. We divide both sides by 2. And that becomes x equals 3. To make things a little more complicated, we could have 3x minus 7 is equal to 14. Now in order to solve this, we are again reversing steps. So we look at order of operation. What's happening to the x? It's being multiplied by 3, and then we're going to subtract 7 from it, and we want that to be equal to 14. So again, just looking at the x, let's reverse the steps. We multiply by 3 and then subtract 7, so we're going to add 7 to both sides. We multiply by 3, we're going to divide both sides by 7. If we want to check this, any of these, we go back and we substitute the value of x back into the original equation. So if I want to check that, I'm going to go 3 times 7 minus 7, which is 21 minus 7, which is 14. And we can see that that is, in fact, the solution, and that's a correct solution. What else can we do to the variable? Well, what if we divide it? What if we say that x over 2 minus 5 is equal to 7? So again, looking at order of operations, if we are x, we're going to be divided by 2 and then we'll subtract 5. We're going to reverse those, so we're going to add 5 to both sides. X over 2 is equal to 12. The x is being divided by 2. We multiply both sides by 2 and we have 24 as our solution. So that's just basic solving equations, right? Just a reminder of that. Now, what if we have a formula? So I'm just going to clear this sheet. So let's say I have the formula for simple interest. I is equal to PRT, where P is the principal amount, R is the rate of interest expressed as a decimal, and T is the amount of time. And what can we do with formulas? Well, we can substitute into them and evaluate them. So in this particular formula, let's say that we start with $2,000, that our interest rate is 12% a year, so we call that zero. Oops, let's write that out as the rate is 0.12, because percents must always be converted to decimals, and the amount of time that we're going to evaluate this for is, let's say, 3 years. So with this formula, it's a simple substitution into the formula. 2,000. If I write a set of brackets, that means to multiply and multiply again. We'll get out our calculator and turning on the calculator, clearing 2,000. You can actually put this in brackets if you like. 0.12, close bracket, bracket again, 3. It's duplicating what we see there, and the calculator will know to multiply. And that's equal to, let me get my pen in position, 720, or $720 in this case. As the amount was 2,000, so let's put the units in this case, a dollar sign. Okay, so we substitute in. There can, of course, be more complicated formulas. Here's one for resistance of 3 resistors in parallel. And the formula is R is equal to RST, which is the individual resistance of the 3 resistors, divided by RS plus ST plus RT. And let's say we want to work that out, where little r is 4 ohms. Ohms is the unit of resistance. Little s is 12 ohms, and and little t is 20 ohms. So it's actually very simple in this case, right? We're not trying to solve for anything else. We're simply going to substitute in. So we have 4 times 12 times 20 divided by our S, which is 4 times 12, plus ST. And again, we're just substituting into the formula, 12 times 20, plus RT, 4 times 20. And if I'm doing that, I'm going to extend this out. Okay, so let's pull up our calculator. The long division bar here means that you need to work out the entire top expression, then work out the entire bottom expression, and then do the division. So on the calculator, it's going to look like this. We're going to put down a bracket, and we're going to use that for the top expression, right, which is 4 times 12 times 20, close bracket, and that's going to be divided by the bottom expression, which is 4 times 12 plus 12 times 20 plus 4 times 20, close parenthesis, and I'll just sort of scroll back there so you can see what we're looking at. You can see we've got the first expression enclosed in brackets, then the division. So by order of operations, bed mass, it has to do brackets first. And hit enter. We get 2.608. And let's say we're rounding to the nearest tenth. So 2.6 ohms. Last thing I want to look at today is rearranging formulas, something that you'll be doing very often in math. Let's start with a simple formula. Area of a rectangle. Area is length times width. And what we want to do is solve for L. That is to rewrite this equation so that it reads L equals. In order to do that, we can see that the L is multiplied by W. So we're going to have to do the reverse. We'll divide both sides by W. So A over W is equal to L. And let's rewrite that with the L on the left-hand side. We get L is equal to A over W. One other common formula you'll use will be distance is equal to speed times time. And let's solve that for time. So I want to write solve for t. In order to solve for t, we're going to divide both sides by s. That will isolate the t and give us d over s. So I'm doing that. I'm also reversing the sides here, since I know that this will become simply t and this will become d over s. So time is equal to distance over speed. What if we have the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle? P is equal to 2L plus 2W, and I want you to solve that for L. So what we need to do is isolate the L. Got to get it by itself, which means we need to get rid of 2W. We're going to do that. Since it's added, we're going to subtract, and at the same time, I'm going to reverse sides. So 2L is equal to P minus 2W. It's P minus 2W. Now to get L by itself, we divide both sides by 2. So L is P minus 2W divided by 2. Make sure the division bar extends all the way underneath, because you have to basically remember you need to evaluate this first and then divide by 2. Let's go to one of the, how about a volume formula? The volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h, and I want you to solve that for h. Very simple. We'll divide both sides by pi r squared. That's going to isolate the h right away and give us v divided by pi r squared. Okay, so that's a pretty easy one. What other formulas can we do? maybe one more. How about let's take a formula we're going to become familiar with. And this is the formula, this is the equation of a straight line in slope y-intercept form, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept, and we want to solve this for b. So, really easy, right? It's just going to be y equals m, well, sorry, y minus mx, and that's what b is equal to. All right, let's make this a little tougher. Let's solve for x. So y equals mx plus b, solve for x. So we look at x. Again, think order of operations. It's multiplied by m, and then b is added, and we need to reverse order, so we're going to subtract b. So y minus b is equal to mx. I want to solve for x, that is, isolate the x. We'll divide both sides by m, and x will be y minus b over m. Okay, so nice and short, just get some practice at rearranging formulas, substituting into formulas, and solving simple algebraic expressions.